Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel Made with Love. My name is Heather. Today I'm going to show you how I make my buttery, what are they called? Shortbread cookies. No, it's 3-ingredient buttery shortbread cookies. And recently I had gotten these cookie cutters. There's this one here, it makes the square. And I've got this one here and it makes the round. So they make between 14 and 16 cookies each. So you roll out your cookies, it's one press, and you make your whole tray of cookies in one time. So I'm just going to get the camera angled down and we'll start making the cookies. Okay, for this 3-ingredient buttery shortbread cookies, the recipe is 4.5 cups of flour, 1 cup of brown sugar, lightly packed, and 2 cups of butter, softened. So I've already got my butter here, measured out 2 cups, and I've already softened it in the microwave. And so to this, I'm going to be adding 1 cup of brown sugar. Don't have a spoon. 1 second. Sorry. Just gonna move this over. Just gonna measure out 1 cup of brown sugar. It says lightly packed. So my puppy's on the deck, and there's somebody walking by, and I think they have a big dog too. There's about 1 cup of brown sugar. Just add that in. Then I'm just going to take my mixer. I'm just going to cream these together. So I'll be back when I get this cream because this mixer is very loud. Okay, I've got my I've got the butter and brown sugar nicely mixed together. Looks like that. Next comes 4.5 cups of flour. And I always sift my flour, so I got my sifter. Just gonna do this 1 cup at a time, just sift it in. And that is the trick to really soft shortbread cookies, or soft to any baking, is to sift your flour. Now if I had any other dry ingredients, I always sift them in at the same time with the flour, like your baking powder, baking soda, and salt. I'm just going to give this a quick stir, and then I'll just get in the next cup. Two cups. I've got 2.5 more cups to add. When I'm doing it, always make sure you level off the flour. I don't think I was showing that, so I do. Give this a quick stir. Starting to come together now. We need 1.5 more cups of flour to be added. What I do is I get this right. So I pile up the flour in the cup so it's actually fuller than the cup. Then I just kind of scrape it across to make it a level cup. And just need the 1/2 cup. 3/4. This is the 1/2. It's 2/3. Yeah, I don't know which one is the 1/2 cup. Oh, there's the 1/2 cup. I got these interesting little measuring cups and they look like the Russian nesting dolls. So I don't know which top or bottom is which ones. I think I've used them maybe 4 or 5 times since I got them. So I'm still figuring out which piece is which amount. So I'm sifting the last 1.5 cups here. Just gotta switch to the wooden spoon to stir now. Start to mix all this in. It's going to take a few minutes, so I'll be back when I get this all stirred in and mixed good. Okay, I'm getting it stirred. It's getting mixed in good. I'm just going to dump it out onto the surface here, so I can get it all to go into one ball. I'm just going to shape it into a few balls. Let's see how many I can make. There's one good size. It's about the size of a good orange or grapefruit. A little bit more left, just to make I guess a smaller circle or ball of dough. And then I'll be covering these in saran wrap or plastic wrap, and I'm putting them in the fridge for about an hour to chill. So I will be back when they've been in the fridge for about an hour. Okay, welcome back. I just took the dough out of the fridge. It should be nice and cold and ready to roll out. I've also got my oven preheated. My oven is a convection bake, so I use the 350 degrees convection bake. But you can in regular oven, it's just 350 degrees anyways. So let's just move the camera down and start rolling up the cookies. The other thing I like to do is for these, I have my pan and I get my parchment paper So I kind of know the size of my pan with my parchment paper. I'm going to have to roll the cookie dough on the parchment paper because I'm making the rolled out cookies with the cookie cutters. This way I can roll out the dough, cut out the shapes, pull the excess dough away, and I just lift this up and transfer it to my pan instead of picking up every individual cookie. I really find it works a little bit better for me. Get the dough here. I'm going to grab a little bit of flour. Put a little bit of flour down on the parchment, in the dough, and on my rolling pin. Okay, maybe it's not chilled enough if it's doing that. Just a hard chunk of brown sugar, just took that out. Okay. May not be chilled quite enough. I'll just roll it out and see. Maybe it just needs to be kneaded a little more. Oh. No, I think it's going to need a little bit longer in the fridge. Let's see. Let's make a couple nice balls here. Just try this again. These are like these extra buttery, extra soft, extra crumbly. So just try it again. Just see if I can roll it out. Maybe just need to press the ball a little harder in place. Let's see. No, it just wants to crumble. I'm just gonna, oh no, that it's starting to work now. It's starting to get rolled out. I'm just gonna grab one of these cookie cutters here. I'm just gonna test it out and see. Will work. I'm just gonna reform this into a ball and start rolling these out. Just give me a few minutes here just to get this all into one ball. I'll just be right back. Okay, sorry about that, but yeah, I was able to, just had to add some more flour. Just had to work with it a little bit more just to get it to roll out. But I've got it all rolled out now. I put the other couple balls back in the fridge. So I'm gonna use this one here. It's the circles. It makes 15. So we'll see how this works. Just press it into the dough. Like I said, I just got these cutters at a local liquidation place. Let's see. Oh, I like how that's made them. It's even lifted some of the excess dough for me. I don't know how easy it would be to get the dough out of there. Oops. So I'm just gonna keep making circles. See how many cookies I can make on this before I have to roll it out again. But yeah, I really like how this is working. Any of these that are just falling apart or just little partial ones, I'll just move to the side. So, you know, this is actually might work better if I this recipe not roll it out on the parchment. I thought it might be easier with this type of cookie cutter, but I guess it's not going to be any easier. So this other pan here with this wax paper, so I guess we'll just get rid of this idea of doing it on the wax paper, and I'm just going to transfer each cookie to the other cookie sheet I've got ready. So I'm not too worried if any of these break. You know, like shortbread cookies, if they're more crumbly and flaky, the better they taste. I'm just gonna keep doing this until I get all the cookie dough used up. Just because with the new kitchen tools, it's, you know, takes a few minutes, trial and error, trying to get, you know, how does it work. But I got these, I said, at this local liquidation world. It was Bianca's. And I think they were like $1.50 or $2.50 each. So it was a really good deal for cookie cutters. So I will be back when I get all this cookie dough made into the circles or the squares. And I'll show you what they look like, how many I got, and what they look like before I place them in the oven. Okay, so I've got my 2 pans ready to go into the oven. I made 28 of the circle, and they fit in my, I think it's in, I don't know, whatever size my cookie sheets are, I don't know. And the square ones, and I've got 6, I don't know, 18 I think. Is that right? I don't know. 24. Can't quite count. So I got 24 of the square because they are bigger, and I got 28 of the round. So I'm just gonna put these in my oven. So my oven's at 350. It's already been preheated. I just heard it buzz a couple minutes ago. And it takes, I think, 10 to 12 minutes. So I'll be back when I pull them out of the oven. Okay, I just pulled them out of the oven. They've been in there for exactly 10 minutes and they are perfectly. So I'm just gonna take the oven mitt off so I can do this. Just gonna lift them up and put them on the cooling racks. And when they cool down, you can ice them with the, I have an icing that I like. It's like a royal icing. But the recipe I have, instead of egg whites, it takes the meringue powder, which I think is safer because I don't like to do any recipe with uncooked eggs. Well, unless, of course, it's like a lemon meringue pie or a key lime pie, but then you're putting that back in the oven to cook the egg coating. When you're making it with cookies and the icing for the cookies or cakes or anything, and you're not cooking the eggs, I don't like those types of recipes. So my icing recipe takes the meringue powder. I won't be icing these ones. I want to keep these ones here, just the shortbread cookies. They're so good, and just like I said, it's a 3-ingredient recipe, and it's like, who doesn't have flour, butter, and brown sugar at all times? That's all it takes. It's like, again, it's just 4.5 cups of flour, 1 cup of brown sugar, and 2 cups of softened butter. Couldn't think of that name for a second. So it's just that easy to make cookies. I'm just going to keep putting my cookies here on the cooling racks. I'm just going to keep rolling out for cookies because I got one more ball of dough to roll out. So I will let you know exactly how many cookies I was able to make. So I'll be back when I've got all the cookies baked. Okay, I've finished making all the cookies. I've got them baked and all on my trays. I'm just going to move the camera down so you can see how many I've made. I've got 5 trays of cookies made. With this recipe, I was able to make 58 of the round cookies, and I made 74 of the square ones. Like I said, tonight I'm not gonna ice them. I'm just gonna leave these as they are. I might decide to ice them tomorrow, and if I do, I'll make, I'll come back and I'll show you how my cookie icing recipe that I use. So I say thank you to everybody to watching my videos. I hope everybody's enjoyed my Christmas baking series so far. Please subscribe to my channel. I said I'll have the full description of my recipe down in the description box below. Thank you everybody. Okay, welcome back. I made the cookies last night, so now today I have decided that I'm going to make an icing for them. I'm going to be making my royal icing, and it's made with the meringue powder. I'm just going to move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. Just out of the way. Okay, so we need my sifter here. We need 4 cups of icing sugar, and has to be sifted. My 1 cup measure here. Just gonna put in my icing sugar. There's 2 cups. I'm just going to get this sifted. So this recipe is 4 cups of icing sugar sifted, 3 tablespoons of meringue powder, and you'll need about 10 tablespoons of room temperature water, and of course food coloring. Because I'm making Christmas cookies, I'll be using red and green food coloring. So that's 2 cups. So I have 2 more cups to sift. Looks like I may have just enough icing sugar to make my icing. Now the cookies I made last night was my 3 ingredient buttery shortbread cookies, and I ended up making 11 dozen little cookies. So it's quite a simple recipe. You get lots of cookies. Just going to keep sifting this in. I spilled icing sugar when I was trying to whip this up, but that's okay. I'll clean it up in a little bit. So the other thing I always do when I'm sifting like flour or any of my other dry ingredients, I will sift through at the same time. So when I've almost done this, so when I got these done, I will add my meringue powder, and I will also sift that too. I might need a new sifter. This one's just having trouble sifting the icing sugar. Almost got it all sifted. Now I'm going to add, it says it's 3 tablespoons of meringue powder, so I'm going to add that now. I'm going to also put that through the sifter. It also helps mix it in, mixes everything in easier and faster. Okay, so that's the 4 cups of icing sugar and my 3 tablespoons of meringue powder. Now you have to this, we're going to add like about 10 tablespoons of, must be room temperature water. So just, you know, just temperature that's just like the kind you don't want to drink. It's kind of too warm to drink, but it's not hot. So I lost count. 5, I guess I'll say 5, 7, 9, I guess that'll be about 10. Okay, because if you need to add more, you can always add a little more water if you need more water, more icing sugar if you need more icing sugar. I'm just gonna mix this in a little with the whisk, and then I'm just gonna mix this up a little bit better with my electric mixer. So I'm just gonna pause the video and I'll be right back when I've got it mixed with the electric mixer. I'm gonna show you that the icing is almost like, well, I think it's done. So what you do is it's got this, when you mix it, just make sure it's done. It says should drizzle down and be nice and smooth. Should take about 5 to 10 seconds for it to drizzle down and to be smooth. So that looks perfect to me. It will take about 2 to 3 hours for it to harden when you make when you ice your cookies. So you do have some give time, so you don't have to feel like you're rushed to ice all the cookies, because it takes a while to ice cookies. Now if you think that it's going to take you longer to ice the cookies, you can always just set the icing in the fridge, covered for, you know, between batches of cooking, or between your batches of cookies, if you're going to think it's going to take a little longer. It's done. So I'm going to just split this into another bowl. As I said, I've got my food coloring here. I'm going to do red and green. I'm going to grab my other bowl here. I'm just going to pour half of it into this bowl here, so I can do half red and half green. Now I do have cookie and cake decorating bags and tips and stuff, which I would normally use, but I just want to show you how you can actually make this without using all those little things. You don't need to have a whole bunch of kitchen tools to ice your stuff. I'm just gonna, I guess this batch I'll make the red. I always start with 3 drops, 4. Okay. Just gonna whisk in the food coloring. It's a very nice bright pink right now. I want it more red, so I'll have to add a little more, but I always start with 3 drops of food coloring just to kind of get an idea of how dark it's going to be, because sometimes you want it darker, sometimes you want it lighter. If you want it lighter, start out slower. That's another 5 drops. Just gone like a darker pink. I don't buy this kind of food coloring. This is all the store had left. You know, it's like 1 week to Christmas. There's not a lot of options for food coloring. So, doesn't even say how many drops to use to make it dark red. So, let's add another 5 drops. Let's see if that will go darker. See, it doesn't look like it's gonna go any darker. I guess it's gonna be more of a dark pink, but that's okay because I'll ice the cookies and I'll add the candied sprinkles on top. Set this aside. Oops. I'll grab this one and I'll add the green food coloring. 1, 2, 3, because the green is usually darker, it usually takes less. Let's see. It's going to take more than 3 drops, but usually the amount of stuff, it's usually 3 drops. See, the food coloring I use, I think it's because I like the thicker, almost like a gel kind of food coloring is what I like to use. Yeah. See, now I've got this really nice light lime green. Let's try again. Set a bunch. I don't know how many that was. It's hard to count while I'm talking. Again, yeah, it looks like I'm not going to be able to get like a really vibrant dark colors with these liquid food colorings. But so that's okay. That's what the store had. If they went to a couple, I went to a couple and they were totally sold out. They didn't have anything left for food coloring. So I was lucky to go to the one store tonight and able to find that they had red, blue, and green. But I decided not to buy the blue because I just thought the red and green were more Christmassy. Yeah, see, even adding like 5 more drops, it's not going to go any darker than that. Not with these liquid ones. So I guess this is the color of my icing. I guess I got this bright, like a lime green. And this one is like a really nice pink. So now I'm just going to move food coloring, make sure I close them. I have spilt food coloring in the past and it stains my floors. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the tray of cookies here. I'm just going to quickly show how I ice the cookies. I'll be right back. I don't have my little icing tool. Okay, I'm just going to show you how to do a few. Just gonna grab the icing, just gonna get rid of the spatula because it's too big. So this is my little spatula that I use for icing cookies and cupcakes. Just dip it in and get a little bit on and just spread it on like this. Like I said, now if I do pipe it on using the bags, you can do your outlining, outlining, and then fill it in, but sometimes I find that's just a lot of work. I'm going to show you that you don't have these ice cake spatulas. See, I've got this other one. This one I like for cakes. It's got the little serrated edge, so when I'm doing around the side of the cake, I can get a nice little clean line. I get those nice little lines through there. This is just a kitchen, just my butter knife, same thing. You can just grab a little bit of icing on the knife and just, swirl it on your cookies. And if you don't have a butter knife, you can even use just like regular kitchen knife, same thing. It's just, you just spread the icing on. Or you can even just use just a regular little spoon will also work. Just get some icing on the spoon, just scoop it on, a little more, and you just use the back of the spoon to spread it. You don't need to spend a lot of money on fancy kitchen gadgets. I've got a lot of kitchen gadgets, but it's taken me 20 years to get all the little kitchen gadgets I've got. But there we go. So easy to make my 3-ingredient buttery shortbread cookies with my royal icing. It's made with the meringue powder. I will have both the recipes in the description box below. Sorry, my puppy was jumping up at the counter. I forget what I was saying. So I guess just showing you can make these. We don't need all those fancy kitchen gadgets to make simple cookies. I hope everybody enjoys my Christmas baking, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video.